Too high. Okay. Hi, Jade. Hey, Gil. Yeah, I'm in my son's room again. It's actually not that bad, if you think about it, you know? Star Wars is a good theme. It's a really good theme. So, guys, I was running a little bit late because, well, my aunt has been staying with me, helping with my son while his dad's away. And I don't know if you know, listen, it's like having my mom here and having home cooked meals. I savor it. So I was eating. I was like rushing myself to eat really fast. The smoke detector. The smoke detector. Listen, it's fine. That problem was solved. So guys, oh my gosh, it's just too many toys. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had fun over the weekend. I actually stayed home and relaxed, just chilled. Nothing special, nothing crazy. And, you know, just doing my own thing. I'm a little out of breath. I don't know why. I think it's because of all that food I ate. But I'm going to try to stay with you guys on this. So, let's get this started. Welcome to Intuitive Vibes, Narc Survival 101. It's your girl Erica here. If you're new to the channel, stick around. You may hear something that you need to know. You may hear something that, you know, may be relevant to what's going on in your life. And of course, look through all of my content to see if any of the content is useful, it's helpful for you. And if it is, hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time I put up a video and every time I do a live. And guys, everybody else, all of my returning subscribers and loyal followers, welcome back, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try to be a little calm here. I just got to calm myself down just for a little bit. So guys, yeah, it's been a bit. I had a pretty good weekend. Everything was pretty calm, collected, peaceful. Nothing crazy, thankfully. I'm actually today in a very good mood. Really can't explain why, but I am. And you know, I figured today's live will just, you know, kind of wing it. And just, I really wanted to push more for survivors to speak more, speak up more. You know, last week, you know, I spoke up a little bit more in regards to my videos that I posted up in regards to my experience with narcissistic abuse and of course the discard and everything that, you know, went on around it. But I really want to push for many, you know, many of you survivors who are out there who may be afraid or, you know, in some cases may feel ashamed about the type of abuse that you endured. You know, if you think you have endured abuse, more than likely it was abuse, because I mean, come on, people tend to correlate abuse with physical abuse, but that's not always the case. Mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, all the same thing. They're all forms of abuse. So if you've gone through it, trust me, you have been abused in one way, shape, or form. I'm very happy to say that I have a couple of more people who are interested in sharing their stories, that they want me to put it in my book that I'm currently writing, which I'm super excited for that, because it really lets you air out what it is you always wanted to say. It lets you, you know, pretty much just kind of get it off your chest. And of course, your story helps other people. That's the whole point, okay? So not only do you want to release the anger, release that trauma, release the pain, just release it all, but you want to help other people, because someone else may be going through what you went through and they may not know which way to go. They may not know where to turn. And you guys really just, you'd be amazed at how helpful your experience, even though unfortunately you went through it, your experience will be helping, your story of your experience will be helping a lot of other people. You know, there are people who are still not aware that they're dealing with narcissistic abuse. They're still not aware that they are dealing with pathological liars, abusers. Heather, welcome, sweetheart. they're still not aware of what it is that they're dealing with. And unfortunately, these are people who are obviously being heavily gaslit. They really just don't understand. And of course, if they were anything like me or anyone like me, in that I had to deal with it alone, and I didn't know what was going on. For Justice, welcome. Thank you for joining. But if you were anything like me, anything, I keep saying anyone like me, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was happening. You just pretty much were in a lost daze, and you were just in the midst of so much confusion, wondering why these things were happening to you, and wondering why you allowed it to happen, why you stayed around so long for it to happen. These types of people, they need your help. I can only do but so much, you know what I'm saying? But if you guys really speak up, and you guys really, and I'm not saying, listen, you don't even have to divulge your name. You don't have to divulge your identity, but just speaking up and explaining your experiences, and just telling people what it is that you have gone through. And you don't even have to go into every single bit of detail, because the last thing I want anybody to do is become triggered in any way, shape, or form. I know a trigger, and trust me, it's not fun. It really isn't. But, just opening up, speaking your voice, letting people know that they're not alone, letting people know that there are other people who have gone through it. I've already gone over this with you guys before. Narcissistic abuse has affected 160 million people. 160 million people in the United States, guys. Just in the US alone. So I could only imagine in, other countries. But 160 million people, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, okay? And like I've explained to you guys before, out of those 160 million people, how many of them have probably committed suicide? How many of them have decided to end their lives? Because mental abuse, emotional abuse, that's psychological murder. It's psychological murder. And when someone is psychologically murdered, it's only a matter of time before they decide to take it upon themselves to possibly just end it, because they can't deal with the pain. Now, we're here, survivors are here. You guys are here because, you realize how much stronger you are. You realize that, it hurt. You realize that I went through some shit, you realize these things, but you decided to go take it up a notch and utilize your strength to continue going. Not many people do that. Not many people do that, okay? And every time when we hear a story about someone who maybe committed suicide, or, in some cases, because I want to make this clear, and even if there are a few narcissists who decide to peek their heads in, because we all know that narcissists are nosy, okay? And they like to know what survivors, what the clan is talking about, what people are doing. But believe it or not, you have, victims of narcissistic abuse. You've heard stories about, the murder-suicide type things. Some of them could be victims of narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, or just some form of abuse that went on in a relationship or in a family dynamic. So in most cases, we sit there, I would sit there and say to myself, well, and this was before, of course, I'd say to myself, well, who would want to kill themselves, over a relationship ending? I mean, and we've all been there. We've all questioned, like whenever we've read articles or whenever we've heard about situations like that, we would say, well, I would never kill myself over a dude or over a girl, or, This is why they say don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know what that person went through. You don't know what that person was going through. And unless you're sitting in that same seat, you're not going to really understand. So absolutely, Jade. So we have to remember that people who have decided to end their lives due to abuse, narcissistic, sociopathic, domestic violence, physical abuse, emotional, mental abuse, people who have managed to end their lives because of this type of abuse, it's listen, how many of us were on that border? Let's be realistic for a second, okay? Let's be 100%, because that's how we are with each other here, right? We're 100 together. How many of us were on that border of contemplating, at least contemplating, because our mind was just so, we were just so like, and I'm trying to refrain from cursing because my son is in the corner. But our minds were just so scrambled and so messed up because of what happened. And then, you have other people who don't understand it. They don't understand the type of abuse you've gone through. They don't understand what it is that what you've endured, to the point where they'll sit there and say, well, it was just a relationship. Get over it. It happens. People break up. Things happen, but they don't really know the truth. How many of you were victims? And people are just standing on the outside, peeking in, but not really standing on the inside, understanding that what you have endured was something beyond what you ever believed you could endure. I see on social media, the different types of covert bullies. I've seen covert bullies. I've seen people who really try to compete. I've seen so many things, guys. I've seen so many things. And getting into psychology really has helped me to decipher certain phrases, certain attributes of different people. It has shown me that the more I get into it, the more I can really understand how people operate. Okay? A lot of the time, for example, I know a lot of you have experienced gaslighting. Gaslighting is probably one of the biggest tools that a narcissist uses in your relationship, and I want to be, maybe not the first, maybe the 100th or the 50th person to tell you that you were not going crazy. You were not going crazy. They utilize gaslighting to make you feel like, it makes you question your sanity. It really, that's what it's for. It's to make you question what's real and what's not. So when you hear certain things, for example, if if the narcissist or your mate or even your family member, let's keep it as broad as possible. If the narcissist is your mate or your family member, and you're talking to them, they do something that you didn't like. They do something that really didn't rub you the right way, and you're like, wait a minute, no, this doesn't look right. This, or you told me one thing before, but now you're telling me something different. So which one is it? Naturally, what they're going to do is they're going to basically make you feel like you're the one who's crazy. Oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. They'll even try to convince you that you're the one with the mental illness. You're the one with the problem. You have a mental problem. Are you borderline? Are you bipolar? Are you schizophrenic? Are you, any of these things? Because you're going crazy. You're making things up in your head. How many of you dated someone where they were telling you, like, they were very, very firm on their role in your relationship, and they're basically making it clear cut what they will and will not accept. Well, listen, don't let me find this out. Don't let me find that out. Hi, Conceited. Welcome, sweetheart. Don't let me see this, or don't let me see, or, they were clear in what it was that they wanted and did not want you to do. But it was okay for them to do them. So, like, ladies, you had a boyfriend, and if your boyfriend, asks you, are you friends, with an ex, or whatever the case may be, or do you have them on social media, whatever the case is, and clearly, depending on your situation, because I don't really know everybody's situation, but if you say, well, no, I don't befriend exes, I don't keep them in my circle or anything, or you pretty much tell them that, they're okay with that, because narcissists will not accept the idea of you having any kind of affiliation with your ex unless there are certain circumstances that require you to be around your ex. But they will not accept anything beyond, this is your ex, you guys have nothing in common, nothing else in common, like children or whatever, so you guys don't need to be friends. But yet they can keep people that they've dated, they can keep people that they've talked to in the past, they can keep people that, you know, that they were interested in or that were once interested in them. They can keep these people in their circle. You know, they can, it's basically do as I say, not as I do. So, you know, they're very one-sided, extremely one-sided people. If you are out and about and you're talking on the phone with them and someone pays you a compliment, it could be anybody who pays you a compliment, and they say, well, you know, hey, beautiful, or hey, gorgeous, you know, whatever. And you're like, well, you know, thank you, because you're being appreciative of the compliment. And if they hear that, they have managed to flip the whole thing on you, where they say, oh, you know, who's that calling you beautiful? Who's this calling you gorgeous? Oh, you got people calling you this and that. What's the problem? I said thank you. That's it. That's because we know narcissists get extremely jealous. They get extremely jealous, even if someone is complimenting you. If they're complimenting you and you're being accepting of it and you're being, you know, you're being kind about it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. They're extremely jealous people. They've managed to show you their jealousy throughout the relationship. They've managed to show you how they can really get if they are getting jealous. But here's the thing. You're not doing anything to triangulate that jealousy, right? You're not doing anything to triangulate that. You're not doing anything on purpose. You're just being yourself. You're just doing your own thing and you get compliments. You're just doing your own thing and you're just basically minding your business. A narcissist, on the other hand, will do things to triangulate and get you to be jealous on purpose. Okay? They will do certain things. So, for example, if they told you, like I said, do as I say, not as I do, right? So if they tell you, well, I don't know, let's see. If they were to tell you, well, you know what, delete your Facebook. Prime example, delete your Facebook. Okay, well, out of respect for my relationship, everybody's different, guys. Let's just keep that in mind. And I'm not saying that you're doing something because someone told you to do it. A lot of the time, believe it or not, like I said, in case a few narcissists decide to pop their head in, people tend to do things not because you're telling them to do it. They do it because out of respect for the other person, they would do it. So if my mate felt uncomfortable about a situation, felt uncomfortable about certain social media, and these were my personal accounts. I'm not talking about any kind of professional or mental health accounts, because I'll be damned. I don't care if I'm in a relationship or not. This is not stopping. But if they felt uncomfortable and they felt a bit insecure, whatever the case may be, if my mate wanted me to remove an account out of respect for my mate, I would do it. I mean, it's not, I don't have anything to hide. It is what it is. You feel some kind of way. I get that. You know, I don't want to have, like, for us to have any issues. Like I said, everybody's different, guys. But of course, if you're with a narcissist, they're not only going to make it blatantly clear that they don't want you doing certain things, or they do want you doing certain things. And if, like I said, if your mate told you, and they're a narcissist, and they told you, you know, well, delete your Facebook account. Okay, fine. And you agree to do it. Most codependents agree to do it, guys. Okay? Trust me, I know. Most codependents agree to do it. You agree to do it. But then they go around and they open up a Facebook account. So you were getting on me about Facebook, and I go and I delete the account. I get rid of it. But now you opened up a Facebook account. Does that make sense to anybody? Can anybody make any kind of sense, any kind of logical sense out of that? You can't. You can't. Triangulating jealousy. No, Heather, you can't. Triangulating jealousy. So basically, of course, for justice, of course, it's always a double standard. It will always be a double standard. If you tell them how you feel, listen, this is making me feel uncomfortable. See, When you feel uncomfortable, this is a prime example of gaslighting. When they are doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, guys, uncomfortable, meaning that there is no comfort, you don't feel comfortable, and you bring it to their attention, what will they do? They'll deflect. They will then turn it around onto you, and though you know it's uncomfortability, they call it insecurity. Okay? You feel uncomfortable. Certain things that are going on, certain things that are being said is making you uncomfortable. Any logical, rational person will look at your uncomfortability and say, I understand you feel this way, okay? And I'm going to put a stop to it because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. That's logical. But a narcissist will tell you, you're making shit up in your own head. You're being insecure and jealous, and it's very unattractive. You notice the difference, right? You notice the difference. This is why I tell you guys that a narcissist will try their best to erode your self-esteem. Because when they've eroded your self-esteem, they will turn it around, and they'll turn it against you. So they'll make you feel some kind of way. Now that you're feeling some kind of way, they're going to turn it around and gaslight you and tell you that you're insecure. So which one is it? Tell me, which one is it? Okay? You were aiming to make me feel some kind of way. I managed to show you that I feel some kind of way. Now you're telling me I'm insecure and I'm jealous. Again, if somebody can make rational, logical, give me that explanation, guys, because if you can do it, I'm all ears. Okay? Now, when it comes to, let's say, the opposite sex, or the same, because I know, we're not discriminating, because at the end of the day, just like there are heterosexual narcissists, there are gay narcissists as well. So let's just I don't even want to get into that, guys, because now it's just so many different things when it boils down to so many different people, and narcissists are greedy enough, but when you have people that are, just it's beyond me. It's beyond me. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. But if you're dealing with someone and you have friends of the opposite sex or the same sex, listen, it's natural for us to feel a certain kind of way if we're dealing with someone who has a lot of friends of the opposite sex, okay? And reason being is because you guys have been through enough. You guys have gone through different relationships, or maybe one particular relationship for a long period of time. And, you've been through enough to know that you got your guard up. You feel, you need to have your guard up. And that's perfectly fine. If there's anyone in here who does not have trust issues, you can leave, because I know you're lying, all right? Trust issues is a very common thing with a lot of people. And that's okay, because we all need to be on guard. So it's okay to have trust issues. But when you're dealing with someone who is borderline paranoid, okay, you and I have trust issues. A narcissist is paranoid. A narcissist is afraid. They walk with paranoia. They walk with fear. They walk with the idea that you are, not that they're not good enough. I really don't think that they sit there and they say to themselves, I'm not good enough. It's kind of like a double-edged sword with them, though, because they have this really inflated ego, yet internally they feel like voids. It never made sense to me. It never made sense how someone who feels like a void internally, but of course it's that false mask. That false mask. So that's that ego, that's pretty much their mask. But, like I said, we all have trust issues, but a narcissist is pretty much on where I can actually see maybe the correlation between narcissism and schizophrenia, because, schizos, we know that they have like multiple, it's kind of like that multiple personality type thing. And of course, narcissists have that Jekyll and Hyde personality thing going on. So of course, this is why they say narcissism really needs to be diagnosed by a medical professional, because they have to, because even not even professionals can pinpoint. Not even professionals can actually sit there and say it's narcissism. You know how many misdiagnoses has happened in that medical profession because what we thought was narcissism was actually antisocial personality disorder or borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder. It's like, it's just so much to keep up with. And that's why I do these lives every week, because just to give a reminder. And now if you notice, I've been doing a lot of these short videos, like these little 5-minute videos, because I'm trying to do reminders for you guys weekly, just to kind of, so people don't fall off the wagon, because it can happen, and people can really get a, just refreshing that, some people are capable. I'm not gonna lie, some people are capable of falling back into that pattern, that pattern with their narcissist, with their ex-narcissist, with their narcissist family members. A lot of different people are liable to fall back into it. But if I can continuously give you guys reminders like, don't do it, don't go back to it, I'm gonna keep doing that. But you guys know what you have gone through in dealing, and everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is different. Everybody has gone through either extreme lengths or minimal. I mean, it's all the same though, in that the only difference is time, the amount of time, that has gone by in between. Because someone who's gone through narcissistic abuse for just a couple of months compared to someone who's gone through the abuse for 10, 20, 30 years, the one obviously who had it only for a couple of months was able to maybe possibly break free from it sooner, or they were discarded sooner. But the one who's been through it between 10, 20, 30 years has obviously endured an extensive amount of abuse. Elias, man, I had a dream of having sex with her and I don't even love her no more. We had dreams of her as a vampire. Elias, narcissists are considered to be, well, they're considered to be the epitome of the Jezebel spirit. And that's pretty much a very dark succubus spirit. It's, it's pretty much like, it's just so downright dark. And what you will probably, even though you don't have, love per se for her, you were probably experiencing that residual energy of your trauma bond that you had with her, which can happen because I've had dreams too. I've had, even when I wasn't thinking about this person at all, not even close to thinking about this person, I was so embedded in everything that I was doing, I had pop-up dreams. I would have like random dreams come out of nowhere. And it can happen. It can happen. Be careful with that, because if you're familiar with incubus and succubus spirits, which is all, of course, part of, Satan, the devil, whatever you guys want to call them. These spirits are spirits, because people don't believe. Listen, I'm not going to go too deep into spirituality, but let me explain something to you guys. If you deal with people who have attachments, okay, and by attachments I mean have certain entities, spirits, whatever in their, within their domain, those spirits can attach to you too. If you deal with people who are dealing with, like, say, dark magic, who do black magic, who do, different types of spiritual work in that, within the dark arts, that's creating, you're opening, obviously, portals. You're opening things for dark things to come in and enter. When you deal with someone, if you're dealing with someone who has the Jezebel spirit attached, and guys, if you don't know what the Jezebel spirit is, look it up. There are a lot of good videos on the Jezebel spirit itself. But if you're dealing with someone who has a very dark-rooted spirit around them, you're welcome, Jade. If you're dealing with someone who has a very dark-rooted spirit with them, understand that that spirit can attach itself to you. When you are involved with someone in a relationship, the minute you sleep with them, you create a soul tie. Okay? I know you guys are familiar with this. You create a soul tie. That soul tie is pretty much what connects the two of you energetically, spiritually, what have you. That dark rooted spirit pretty much has, because you've created that soul tie, has the ability and the power to suck the life out of you, suck the energy out of you, because you've pretty much invited that spirit in. Even though you weren't aware. Let's keep that in mind, guys. If you weren't aware that the person is walking around with a succubus spirit or an incubus spirit, you're not aware of these things because spirits have a way of manipulating. They can manipulate. The devil was once an angel, guys, right? He was once an angel. And if everybody sits there thinking that the devil is a freaking 10-legged, 3-headed freak, they're wrong. The devil was once an angel and he can come in the form of light. So what is the devil going to do if he really, really, really wants to screw with your head? Okay? What do they say? When the devil can't get to you, what does he do? He sends you a narcissist. Okay? So he comes in the form of light. So he's going to come in the form of what he knows your flesh desires. Let's be realistic here, guys. We're going to be 100% realistic here. How many of you have dealt with a female narcissist? You dealt with a female narcissist. When you dealt with that female narcissist, how did she come to you in the beginning? She came to you nice, right? She came to you all humble and sweet. She came to you with no problems. She came to you, putting you on the pedestal and making you feel good. And she was beautiful. Hell, we'll go up a step. We'll go up a notch. She was gorgeous, okay? Female narcissists are known to having that femme fatale type of look, where they have like either the exotic look or it's just some kind of look that a lot of men go for, okay? Be discerning on this, guys. Just be discerning because, not every female who looks beautiful is a narcissist. But they give you this impression. They're mirroring you. You notice that they're doing certain things that kind of resemble what it is that you're doing. They're doing things that seem like, oh, well, you're interested in the things that I like to do. You're interested in all of this and that, whatever. They're doing all of these things. They're studying you. What does the devil do? The devil studies you. He's been studying you since the day you were born. Okay? He's been around you in your life since the day you were born. And he's been watching you, and he knows everything that you want, everything that you desire, because you've managed to, even though he cannot read your mind, he can familiarize himself with you. He's been around you your entire life. So he studies everything that you do. He watches your every move. He knows what kind of woman you want in your life. He knows what kind of woman to give to you. A female narcissist is a female sent by the devil himself. And y'all can disagree with me if you want to. Don't care because I know it's the truth. Okay? She comes to you in how you desire. All right? He sends you what you desire, what your flesh desires, what it is that you want right now in the physical. He sends that type of person to you. Then what happens? Everything that she was doing, she was putting you on the pedestal, she was making you feel great, she made you feel like a man. You were walking with a trophy on your arms, guys. You were walking with a female that every man wanted, but they could not have, or so you thought, okay? That's what you were doing. You're walking around town. Meantime, you do not realize that this biatch had you looking like a fool the entire time, okay? Because while she was grooming you, while she was talking to you, while she was making you feel good and keying and ha ha and laughing at your corny jokes, not calling you corny, but come on, we know how it goes, okay? While she's doing all of this, she's probably grooming 2 to 3 other people. And I speak the truth, okay? I speak the truth, okay? She's probably grooming other people because you are not the only source of supply for her. You are the prime source, but you're not the only source, okay? So what does the devil do? He puts this female into your life. Because what does the devil want to do the most to us? He wants to destroy us. Okay? He wants to destroy us. He wants to destroy everything about us because he knows that God wants to save us. But at the end of the day, we have a choice. We have free will. So what do? We utilize our free will and we take what the devil gives us. We all know that we do things that are no good for us, and yet, who do we blame at the end of the day? We end up blaming, or we end up questioning God, failing to understand that we have no one but ourselves to blame. But back to the female narcissist, guys. So while she's in your life doing all of this, of course, you're thinking, this is great, everything's good. This woman is, I mean, she's into me. She wants me, and so many men want her, but I'm the one who gets to have her. No, honey. You're just the man in the meantime who gets to have her. Okay? She's already been grooming other people. She's already been filling your place before you even realized it. Okay? Because in case you act up, in case you're boring, in case you can't fulfill her, in case, listen, female narcissists are in case females. They're like, I'll mess with you, but, if I get bored easily, okay, you got to stimulate me, you got to do this, you got to do that, and so unnatural. But that's how they are. They get bored easily. They always want to go for the next best thing. If you're not the poppin' person, or if you're not the, the it person, but there's someone else who is, and she finds them, or if that person notices her, rest assured, she will discard you for that. I found out she was cheating. Elias, you found out she was cheating once. I can't understand the end of that sentence. Alicia, hi mama. Facts. She's community property, sold to the highest bidder. Of course. Because all this time while you're sitting there thinking, I have. Listen, I have a hot commodity. Okay. Every time somebody, like when a new pair of Jordans come out, right? You see everybody standing online to get a pair of Jordans. That's how a guy pretty much looks at it, It's like, yo, I got these new pair of Jordans. Everybody's trying to get them, but they're limited edition. You think she's limited edition? No, honey, there are plenty more like her. The only problem is that they're covert. They're covert, okay? There are plenty of females like her. And trust and believe, you think you won the jackpot. You think you won the lottery. And when you finally are like, you know what? I'm on cloud 9. I'm happy. She's great. I'm great. We're good. What does she do? All right. This putting you on the pedestal is really boring me. Now it's my turn. Now you got to do for me. So what does she do? She tears you off the pedestal. And now she makes you work for her. Now she makes you have to earn her. Okay? It's all she's willing to give and give and give and give in the beginning. Yeah. You think she's like, she's just giving. And then hold on 1 second, guys. Heather, my ex dressed like me in the beginning. Thought it was weird. It's and I think that's part of, like, because they don't have identity. They don't have their own identity. So naturally what they're going to do is they're going to pick up on someone else's identity. They don't have their own identity to, so they don't have anything to identify with. So what they're doing is they're like leeches. And since you have your own identity and you are able to be your own person, your own unique person, that's how they, that's how they mirror people. They're just basically copying off of someone else's identity. Elias, I found out she was cheating on since my first son. Elias, it's honestly, I look at it this way. Because people do check out. People check out, and depending on what the situation and the circumstance is. If she had checked out, she just checked out of the relationship. She checked out of the dynamic. She should have just left. You know, she should have just left. It would have hurt you. It would have been, you know, something that probably would have really broken your heart, you know, depending on how deep you guys were in your relationship, but she should have just left. And by leaving, I don't mean just leave and leave no closure and just leave the door open because, you know what, I'm gonna leave, but you know what, I'm gonna leave the door open just in case, you know, just in case I decide I want to come back. No, I mean, she should have just sat you down, man and woman, sat down and talked about it and said, listen, this isn't, you know, it is what it is, and give you the respect because, you know, listen, cheating, man, I honestly, you know, when it boils down to that, I think that's just like, to me, it's just like such a violation, man. It really is a violation. It's beyond violation. It really is. People tend to think that, oh, well, you know, it's just the act. That's all it is. It's just the act. Sleeping with someone else is just the act. You think for justice, I think she, let me see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm blind. I think he was cheating, but have no proof. You know what's interesting about that for justice? Oftentimes, I mean, if your gut is telling you something, you know, oftentimes people say, well, you know, you can't accuse someone if you don't have proof. And I often wonder, would I have the proof if I haven't been gaslit so much? You know, would I have the proof if I hadn't been diverted? You know, think about that. Just think, I'm not saying that the person cheated, but I'm just saying what we sometimes don't think about is, you know, we didn't have proof of this, we didn't have proof of that, we didn't, you know, we didn't have proof of anything. What if the proof was always there, but because you were being gaslit so much and you were being diverted, you were being basically persuaded, you were going in this direction and your gut was telling you to go in this direction, but because you were gaslit, you wound up going in that direction. I personally, everybody's different, guys. I personally look at it this way. It doesn't just take cheating. Okay, cheating is a real big, oh yeah, it's just a really big violation. It's a really big violation to go out of the confines of your relationship and sleep with someone else. I mean, listen, if you guys are no longer together, as in no longer together sexually, emotionally, mentally, you know, I mean, under certain circumstances, listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Everybody is different. I lived with my son's father for years because my son has autism. But we were not together. You understand? I had to live under those circumstances because if you don't have a child who has autism, if you don't have a child who has a special needs or has a disability, then you're not going to understand this, okay? But my son was nonverbal. And at the end of the day, we were each other's support system. We had to be. Was I still in love with him? No. But we did what we had to do. I lived with him for many years, even after I checked out. You understand? I stayed in those dynamics because it's hard to raise a child who has a special need and you don't really have too many people you can rely on to help you. And hi, Andrea. Welcome, sweetheart. Conceited. I understand fully. My son is autistic and a lot to handle alone. So you understand, Conceited. You understand what I'm saying. It was very hard. It was very hard because it's like you don't want to give the kind of impression that it's, you know, it's like this when it's really like that. You know, but at the same time, when you're codependent, and I mean by meaning codependent, meaning that you rely on other people to help protect your son. Because a lot of what I had done, my life was all about sacrifice, guys. That's my life. It was all about sacrifice. And I was willing to do anything possible to make sure that my son was safe and make sure that my son was good. And my son has a great dad. Don't get me wrong on that. His dad is great with him. But when it boiled down to us, it just didn't work anymore. It really didn't. And, you know, we have our history, we have our past, we have a lot of things that went down between us. But at the end of the day, you know, it was what it was. It was what it was. And you know, I decided to face my fears. My biggest fear was if I left, and this was, of course, years ago because this was a long time ago, but if I left, my biggest fear was what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to take care of my son and go to work? Am I going to be able to take care of bills? Am I going to be able to do these things? And again, people who don't know sacrifice, people who don't know having disabled children, they're not going to understand that. No one is going to understand that. Only people who have gone through what I have gone through, or who have experienced the type of disability that my son is, you know, is dealing with, they're not going to understand. But I stayed in that dynamic for a very long time. Give me 1 second. Okay. Conceited says, or how your son would react to the change and the struggles that come with it. Absolutely. That was the thing. Like my biggest fear was struggling. My biggest fear was, can I do this? Can I, you know, am I going to end up on the streets with my kid? Am I going to, you know, if I leave my son with someone that, you know, complete stranger, how do I know my son is safe? My son is nonverbal, and you have so many predators out there. You have so many pedophiles out there. It's crazy. So yeah, you know what? Sometimes you bite the bullet. Sometimes you bite the bullet. And it may not mean having the best circumstances. It may not mean, you know, being in a relationship, but you do what you have to do in order to make sure that your child is okay. And when I decided to face my fears, and I decided to just get up and say, you know what, it does not make sense to be where I don't want to be. And my son, though he was young, he's smart. He's gonna know, he's gonna feel the tension, he's gonna feel how it is. And I wasn't putting my happiness before my son's. I was not putting my happiness before my son. I was I'm gonna make the best of what I can, and I'm gonna do this where I'm not only gonna be happy within my own life, but I'm gonna make sure that my son is good regardless of anything. Okay. And you know, but when it delves into going outside of your relationship, when you're in a committed relationship, when you are with the person, when you are in an actual dynamic, an actual relationship with the person, it's wrong. Cheating is wrong. Like, it's straight up. It's wrong. And the thing that kills me most is that people don't understand that you're dealing with people who can snap. like it never like, you look at a narcissist, like, it never occurred to you that though you think I'm weak as you think I am, it never occurred to you that I could possibly snap and snap your neck, or run you over with my car, or beat you with the baseball bat. I mean, I'm not saying any of you would do that, but has it ever occurred to a narcissist that you play your cards with the wrong player and they just might end up taking your life? Have they ever thought of that? No, they just think of, oh, well, this person's weak, this person's crying over me, this person's begging me to stay, this person will do anything for me, they won't go that far. See, that's where they underestimate people. That's where they underestimate people. And I'm sorry, you have a lot of victims who stay in victim mode and cannot take it, and they snap. They will snap, okay? And mess around. They'll burn the dude up and his new little supply of girlfriends. They don't care. You got people that'll that's that psychological death. That's that psychological murder. They can literally snap to the point where they could black out and go out there and cause some really severe harm to people. Narcissists don't think about that. Why? Because they're too selfish to think about that. They're only thinking about their own personal needs. They're thinking about what it is they want at that precise moment. It is, Andrea. It's extremely, and you know what, the thing that kills me is that, I mean, my ex asked me, he goes, I said, listen, there's only 3 ways you're going to lose me. There's only 3 ways. You cheat on me, you put your hands on me, you put your hands on my son. That's it. You don't do either, we're straight. We're straight. Cheating, I don't forgive cheating. I don't. I don't. I may listen. At the end of the day, I may forgive you as a person. I mean, listen, you're human. It is what it is. But I will never see you in that same light. There's no way. Everybody's different, guys. You guys, if you guys give second chances, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But me personally, no, I don't do it. I do not do it. That's actually been the closure in a lot of other relationships, which is why I think I never really realized that I was dealing with narcissistic abuse as much. I think the reason that made me delve more into it now was because my last relationship ended on a very open-ended. There was no closure. There was no, I would tell him, just tell me that it's over. Just tell me that it's over. Just say those words. Say, because I'm a literal person. I don't know if you guys notice that. I'm a very literal person. Tell me that it's over. He wouldn't do it. He would not do it. He would not say it was over. He wouldn't say any of those things. He would throw everything else at me, but will not say it. So it took me to have to say it. For justice and truth. There's no working it out after cheating for me. I fall off the face of the earth. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I honestly, it's really, if I can't trust you, if I really can't trust you, if I feel that I cannot trust you, that you have caused so much damage that I just can't trust a word you say, I can't trust a thing you do, and I don't care how long I've known you, if I've known you for so many years, I don't care. If I lose trust for you, it's pointless. It's really pointless because you put me in a very tough position. You know, and it's not like I wanted to be there. That's the problem, guys. They lose your trust. It's like, dude, I didn't even want to be here. You put me here. You put me here. And it sucks because what could have been great is no longer because you fucked that up. Because you've managed to do all of these stupid things that were unnecessary. And now I have to sit here looking at you like you're a piece of crap. Conceited. They will never say it because they know you will walk away if they do. And I still ended up walking away. Because I don't play games. I'm almost 40 years old, guys. I don't play games, okay? I don't have time to play games with people. I don't have time to play games with anyone, okay? I play games with? I play games with my soon to be 14-year-old son. That's who I play games with. I don't play games with grown-ass men. I don't play games with grown-ass women. I don't play games with anybody. Don't have time for that, okay? So if you're doing things to try to make me jealous, I mean, now it's different because now I'm so embedded in my power. I'm so listen, I'm so confident, I'm almost conceited, all right? And I'm okay with saying that because as insecure as I have been, as self-conscious as I have been, and feeling completely bad about myself and completely like worthless about myself and just feeling like crap, utter crap, I honestly now I feel so good about myself. And I say it this way, like everybody else, okay? Andrea, you know what? Everybody, all of you should feel good about yourselves because at the end of the day, you managed to get this far. You managed to make it through and you managed to do what these types of people did not expect you to do. They expected you to be crying and worried and letting them back in all the time. And listen, he wants to do that with his ex. That's on him. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay? Not my monkeys, not my circus. I think I'm going to get a shirt, guys, that says that. Not my monkeys, not my circus. And let them do what it is they do best with people who are willing to accept it and willing to manipulate them. That's on them. Okay. Heather, grown-ass adults acting like children. No, yeah. They're known to be the big man child or woman child. You know, they're known to be very petty, very infantile. You know, you're doing all of this for what? For what? So you end up losing someone who was loving to you and caring for you and you know, just showing you, if you guys looked at my post that I did on the community board about the healing codependent, that's exactly what you guys were. You were just being genuine. You were being true to yourself, and they were looking at your vulnerability, because so many people in this world are afraid to be vulnerable. I get it, I understand it, but you know, it's like you thought you finally met someone who you could be vulnerable with, who you can actually be open with, you can actually have good conversations with, and trust. And trust is big. Trust is big. Look at the world we're living in. So it takes a lot to earn your trust. And you know what? It takes so much to earn someone's trust, but it takes so little to break it. And they don't have a problem doing that, because they think, oh, well, you know what? I'm doing what I do now. I'll deal with the consequences later. Little do they know, there is no later. There is no later. Okay? Because everything they were doing at that point in time, the gaslighting, the narcissistic rage, the the triangulation, everything that they were doing, they were thinking, I guess they were thinking to themselves, oh, well, this person's too into me. This person, and then what do? While they're doing that, they breadcrumb you afterwards. They breadcrumb you, because if they know that you're about to go do your healing, if they know that, you know what, I'm just going to let this go, I need to step in and out of your life. I need to message you sporadically. I need to hit you up every so often. I need to pop up out of nowhere and show up in your life, because that is their way of keeping you locked in. That's that succubus and incubus energy, guys. That's the way of luring you back in. So your mind is on them. So your mind stays focused on them. So when you think you're moving along and you're starting your healing and you're getting on with yourself, what happens? Boom. A text pops up. Boom. They show up at your job. Boom. They show up at your house. And they do this because though they're grooming new supply, though they're getting their ego stroked, though they're doing all of this other nonsense, they have no intention on leaving. They have no intention on letting you go. Letting you go. Okay? Not leaving you. Letting you go. They had no intention on you opening the door and walking out and saying, okay? They had no intention on you doing that. They wanted you to sit there and sulk and cry and just, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I can't live my life without this person. I love them. I miss them. And okay? I can't curse, guys. I can't do it. But that's just the way it is. That's the way it is. They wanted you to sit there because they figured all this time you're crying, you're hurting. Listen, guys, I told you guys, I was in pain, man. I was in so much pain, okay? And I was in literal pain that my body was hurting. My body was aching. I was getting sick. I woke up in the middle of the night going through, I don't know if you guys have ever smoked. I don't know if you guys have ever smoked before. Like, I smoked cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. I smoked for many years. So if you ever quit smoking and your body's going through withdrawals, that's what I went through. Andrea, my ex-narc, never thought I was going to leave him. No. Especially if they've been in and out, especially if they've been back and forth, especially if they managed to convince you to do another cycle with them. It's not another relationship, guys. It's not another chance. It's another cycle. That's what it is. Because what do narcissists do? They recycle. You understand? They recycle. So it's not another, let's start over, let's start new, let's start fresh. No, they're giving you that impression, but they're recycling you. Okay? They're reusing you. And some of you obviously, have said no. I mean, you maybe have gone through it just one time and one time only and said, nope, not doing it, not going to happen. But some of you have gone through a continuous cycle over and over again with narcissists or with a narcissist. You're welcome for justice. Very welcome. I got overweight and had heart pain. Yeah, Heather, it's that's, well, you're healthy now, and that's great. So am I. And I actually, when I got underweight, when I stress, when I get stressed, I don't eat. I don't eat at all. I just, at that time, I was smoking and just drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. That's all I did. I wouldn't eat. I mean, like, I told you guys before, a friend of mine had to force feed me because I would not eat. I was like, no, I just can't eat. And in the middle of the night, I, you know, you're crying all day. So how much more can you cry, right? And when you finally fall asleep, I was finally able to fall asleep. And when I finally, my body, was just relaxing in the bed and finally just going to sleep, I was like going into, when you're going into REM and you're just like, you're getting there, you're getting there, you're getting there. And next thing you know, my body is just like, I'm shaking. I was shaking that, like, I felt like my heart was pumping like really hard and fast. And I just could not stop shaking. And this was going on for about a good 5 minutes, shaking uncontrollably. So while he was sleeping peacefully in his bed and, or doing whatever the hell it was he was doing, I was going through the worst withdrawals I had ever gone through. I thought listen, I don't know what it is to be a methadone addict or, an addict to drugs, but if that is what that feels like, because psychologists and psychiatrists compare that to releasing a drug after you've gone through narcissistic abuse, releasing a drug. I never want to see a drug a day in my life, because if that's what that feels like, I'm good. I never ever want to see drugs or anybody doing drugs around me. Alicia, like a washing machine, 3 cycles with these demons. Take the load out, mama. Take the load out, and you know what? Buy yourself a washer. Buy yourself your own washer. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Okay, conceded. Yes, the text catch you off guard. Mine sent unsolicited gifts, and I sent a thank you text naively, and the cycle began for the 4th time. It happens. It happens. That's a Hoover. Okay, that is a Hoover. It is a Hoover. They will send you gifts. They will give you false promises. They will future fake. They will tell you, listen, let's just try again. Let's put the past behind us. Let's forgive and forget. Who has to do the forgiving here? Let's forgive. Let's means let us, which means that you have something you need to forgive me for. No. It doesn't work that way. Okay? I'm very on point when it comes to people expressing things to me. I pay very close attention to what people say, how they say it, the manner that they say it, and I will have no problem breaking it down for people and letting them know you're full of shit. Heather, before I met the Narc, I was in the best shape of my life. While I was with the Narc, my health went downhill. After the Narc, getting healthier. That's awesome, Heather. That's awesome. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you guys already know when it boiled down to, my situation. Like I said, I really believe he was an inverted Narc. That's my opinion. In that he is just more, he's more codependent, and he sustains relationships with other narcissists. If he was raised to be a narcissist, clearly he has narcissistic traits, and if he was raised by a narcissist, then he was clearly, obviously he sustains, I won't even say sustain. He is just more comfortable being in a relationship or dynamic with another narcissist. So clearly an empath is not really gonna be a good fit for him. I mean, I don't know. I could only hope that my certain behaviors and certain aspects of myself rubbed off on him. I could only hope that. But at the end of the day, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket when it boils to that, because, people are capable of change. Believe it or not, they are. But if you have someone who has been narcissistic or been a complete narcissist for many years, it's not going to change overnight. And it's not going to happen when you want it to happen. It's got to happen on its own. So unfortunately, if you've been dealing with the same narcissist, or yeah, Heather says there's your proof. Keep going strong with it, Heather. Keep doing what you got to do and keep staying strong with it. Don't let anybody else, just don't let it happen again. Let's put it that way. Don't let it happen again. But you know, I really couldn't say, but at the end of the day, you know what, guys, listen, we all have our experiences. We've all gone through different different stages, different phases. Each of you are dealing with different narcissists. You know, some of you may be dealing with somatic, cerebral, malignant, vulnerable, invulnerable, inverted, overt, covert. It's just so many different types. You know, you could be dealing with any one of these, but at the end of the day, a narcissist is a narcissist, and they are not very healthy people. They are not people that can sustain healthy relationships. They're not people who can give you what you need or what you look for in a relationship. All they're going to give you is they're going to give you a facade. That is it. A narcissist has no intention on being responsible. Therefore, they cannot hold responsibility in relationships. They have no intention on giving up their freedom. Therefore, they're going to continuously gaslight you, because at the end of the day, as much as they love your attention, that's all they're in it for, is attention. They're in it for whatever they can get out of it, but they have no intention. And it's just going to sound harsh coming from me. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take a pull from a jewel. This is going to sound harsh coming from me, but they never loved you. Woo! That was my battery, guys. They never loved you, okay? And I wish I was lying to you, but they didn't. They were searching for something which you have, because they lack it. And because they lack what it is that you possess, the only way they basically utilize certain things, certain tactics, certain forms of manipulation. They utilize these tactics in order to siphon out of you what it is that you possess. Hold on one second. I am so blind, guys. I really am. No, okay, Conceited says no, they didn't, but love to say it because they know you do and know you want to hear it. Unfortunately, yes. Alicia never loved us. We were just tools. And you know something? Let me tell you something, Alicia. What do tools do? What do tools do? Tools fix things, right? They fix things, okay? It's okay that even though you are a tool, I'm a tool, we're all tools. We can fix things. We can fix things. But I think us being tools, it just really means, metaphorically, we have to fix things within our own lives. We got to stop trying to fix people. We got to stop trying to fix people. We got to stop trying to save people. We got to stop sitting there and saying, you weren't really loved, but you know what? Allow me the chance to show you. No. When someone wants to start dating you, you know what you got to do? You got to tell them, how's your self-esteem? How's your self-love? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with self-love? Oh, you're at a 4? Okay, I'll tell you what. When you reach about an 8 or a 9, then you give me a call, okay? That's what you have to start doing. You have to start turning everything, and this is for all of you guys, everything that you were doing for these people, everything that you were sacrificing for these people, everything that you were being for these people, you got to start turning it for yourself. You got to start doing and being this for yourselves. Okay? Do this and be this for yourself. All right? Two people in a relationship, a healthy relationship, are two people who create their own happiness and they share it with one another. Okay? Not one person who's an empath who, you know, just wants to be loved and wants to love someone, and another person who has not only no self-love, but no kind of respect, very rude, obnoxious. It won't, no. No, no, no. Because all that this person is going to do is just going to keep draining. It's going to just drain it out of you. So much so to the point that you're going to basically absorb all of that abuse and start becoming like them. It's not worth it, guys. It's really not worth it. And as much as I know that some of us, like, when, we meet someone and they give you the story of, this is what I went through, these are the relationships, or, hell, we'll do one better. Someone who tells you, I don't really know if I believe in love because I've been through so much shit. Well, you know what? If that's the mentality that you're at right now, then you need to find someone else who's willing to just play around with you. Okay? Pay attention to what they say, guys. See, we paid attention, but we heard what we wanted to hear. When someone tells you, I've been hurt, I don't believe in love, I haven't been in relationships, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, then, and they just throw all of that at you, the first thing you think is, but I'm different. And if you give me the chance, I'll show you why I'm different. No, doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. Because someone who knows that you're willing to work twice as hard to win their broken heart, no. If that person was responsible enough, if that person actually cared about you, they tell you, you know what? I need to heal my trauma. I need to heal this baggage that I'm holding on to. I need to heal this past pain before I ever let you get involved in my life. So you know what? I'm not going to put you through that. That's what a responsible person does. They don't sit there and say, I'm damaged, I'm broken, I'm emotionally unavailable, but fuck it. Let me give a relationship a try. What? That's like playing Russian roulette. No, don't do it, guys. Don't do it. If they're at that point, if you meet someone and they got that state of mind, they're not sustaining their own self-happiness, and they're just kind of like, I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. Let's just go with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Guys, I went with the flow. Okay? Going with the flow ain't no different than knowing what you want and actually creating that. It's just you still have the chance of wasting your time, but at least knowing what you want and the other person knowing what they want and wanting to build that together, you have a better chance of actually possibly creating something better for yourself. Alicia, because we always get the bullet. Leave them alone. Yeah, leave them alone. Because you really think someone who's a narcissist and you being an empath, who do you think is going to lose in this situation? Realistically, we live in the devil's world, man. We live in the world that's run by Satan himself. Okay? And we're a bunch of people who believe in a higher power, who believe in God, trying to survive in this world. That's what we're doing. We're trying to survive in this world. So if someone who clearly has issues or who clearly has, is not emotionally available, is not even looking for love. I mean, if someone tells you, oh, well, listen, I'm not looking, I'm not expecting, it is what it is, we'll just see how it goes. Let's do a 7-day trial. And if, we want to continue, then you could run the whole card for a year. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, we're getting a little too old for this, guys. We're getting way too old for this, okay? Especially for those who have children. You guys have children. You don't want instability in your life. You don't want people popping in and out. You don't want people creating this whole false... No. Here, my advice to you, draw up an application. Give them an application. Fill this out. I want your family history. I want a sample of your blood, and I want your last 4 digits of your social. I'll get back to you in about 3 to 5 business days, depending on the results that come back. If they come back and you get a phone call from me, then hey, you passed. And if you don't, better luck on your search. That's it. That's it. We're getting a little too old. I'll tell you straight up. I'll be damned. I've been single going on 2.5 years. Okay? Going on 2.5 years. I have been single. I do not deal with anybody. I do not date. I have not dated. I have not dealt with anybody. I've been by myself. And this is coming from someone who was a codependent person. This is coming from someone who relied on emotional validation from someone else. This is coming from someone who was scared to be alone. This is coming from someone who begged this man to be with me because I was afraid of him leaving me. I was afraid of not being with my person. And I'm saying to God, God, he's my person. He's my person. Please just let him see. You know what God told me? Honey, he sees. He just doesn't care. You need to let him go. Almighty told me this. I'm letting it go. And that's what I did. It was hard. It was not easy. It was hard. They see, they just don't care. Okay? He saw what he did. He saw how he affected me. He saw that everything that he was doing was wrong. He knew he was wrong for what he did, because when that time came that Erica walked out the building, Erica left. I left. No word, no warning, nothing. I just got up, got my bag, and I fucking left. When he saw that I was nowhere around, nowhere to be found, none of that, that's when he knew I was not fucking joking. I was not playing. Okay? And the last thing a narcissist wants to do is piss off a very, very, very in-tuned empath, especially someone who's been studying psychology for the past 2 years. I dare any narcissist to come and have a conversation with me. Better believe, you try to test me, you're going to be the one who fails. Conceited life. I'm staying single until I feel 100% comfortable with me and me alone. Good. Good. Oh, my son's TV is on. That shit scared the crap out of me. His TV is on, and I thought something was moving on the TV screen, and it was, because it's on. I'm losing it, guys. Girl, God was like, I did not send you that. You know what, though? Alicia, here's one thing I believe. I believe God knocks two birds with one stone. I do believe that, and it's like I said before, when a narcissist comes into your life, it's to trigger certain trauma. It's to trigger suppressed trauma, okay? And you being an empath, going into a narcissist's life, you're triggering suppressed trauma as well, okay? You are triggering certain things. Believe it or not, guys, the behaviors, everything that you have done have triggered certain things. It has. But they're more so doing a service for you. They're triggering certain things that you need to take care of. My last relationship triggered my codependency trauma. It let me know what I was dealing with. This breakup was so bad for me, guys. I went to therapy. And people be like, you've broken up with people before. Thank you, Heather. Absolutely. You've broken up with people before. This has never happened to you. So what's the problem now? And it's just like, you know what? Because I sat there saying to myself, he made all those, any other relationships I had in the past, he made it pale in comparison. It paled in comparison. And I never felt so much love. I never felt so much devotion to someone ever in my life. I never felt the need. As codependent people, what do? We feel the need to fix people. We feel the need to fix things. We feel the need to save things. We feel the need to give peace, to have peace all the time, to make sure everybody's happy. We feel the need to people please. We feel the need to do all of these things. And that is something that's embedded within us because of our trauma. Okay? It's because of our trauma. So when you feel the need to try to fix someone, or if you ever see yourself trying to go above and beyond, you're overstepping your own boundaries. Okay? That's what you're doing. Alicia Hill. Amen. I agree, Erica, because what God showed me was this. I didn't bring him to you, but the lesson allowed will show you that the cracks and holes in you can only be filled by you and me. Absolutely. Super empath. Yes, Heather. Conceited life. Yes, my breakup sent me to therapy, and It's my first experience with all this, and I'm somewhat scared of dating. You know what, Conceited? I was the same way. Um, I was completely scared because in the beginning, I didn't want to date because I I kind of had a fear that I wasn't going to be able to get over him. And I'm being honest with you guys. I'm opening and I'm being vulnerable with you guys right now. I had the fear of I'm not over him, and if there is that chance that he may come back, I might be inclined to give him another chance. But for some reason, and I don't know why, but for some reason, I kept getting all of these dreams. I kept getting all of these visions. I just kept getting all of these things, whereas God was pointing towards me. I had a dream that I got bitten by a snake. I had a dream I was walking and a snake just flew out of a crowd of people. I'm walking and this snake just flew. And you know, like you see those in the movies, the snakes like flying in thin air. The snake flew and bit me on my arm and dug really, really deep in my arm. When I pulled the snake out, the fangs were like still holding on. Yeah, Alicia, it's Andrea. I'm sorry, I'm blind. Andrea, the snake bit me on my arm, and when I pulled it and I went to throw it to the ground, I stomped on it and I killed it. But what happened was the venom was already in my veins, and the venom was paralyzing me. Literally, in my dream, it was paralyzing me. And I'm trying to get through the door, and I couldn't get through the door. And when I finally got to open the door, my mom was on the other side of the door. And I'm like, Mom, I'm dying. And she's like, what's going on? And, you know, and oddly enough, you know how when you flip in between dreams, you just flip to different dreams. But in that dream, I was trying to climb up a flight of stairs. And every time I tried to climb up, my body started to stiff, get more and more stiff. And that dream was like, you know, I felt like that was a warning. I felt like that was a warning for me. You know, like I never dreamt about a snake ever, guys. Never dreamt about a snake in my life. But now all of a sudden I'm getting these weird dreams. Now all of a sudden I'm getting these dreams. And that for me was like a warning. You know, it's like, watch your back. Watch your back. And who knows? I don't know if it may be him, may not be him. It may be somebody he knows. It may be somebody, you know, I don't know. But I've had these weird dreams. I've had, you know, and in that same dream, but it was like the same night, but the dream over, I had a dream that I was supposed to fight this girl in my dream. And it was just me. And then the girl that I was supposed to fight, and she was with 3 other girls. So I'm like, okay, I gotta fight, you know, 3 chicks because it's 3 on 1. But oddly enough, or amazingly enough, I should say, in my dream, I turn around and there's like this big, I don't know if you guys can understand. It's like a chinero, but it's like, oh my gosh, wall unit. There's like this big wall unit, and it had nothing but weapons. It had weapons in the wall unit. It had bats. It had, you know, swords, you name it. It had it. And I looked at these girls and I'm like, pick your poison. Pick your poison. That dream made me feel good because it kind of let me know that, you know, no matter what I'm going through, like God is letting me know I'll always find a way for you. So I'm like, it's like a protection type of dream. Like, you know what? Even if they try to do you dirty or if they try to fight dirty, I got your back. I got you. You know, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I was scared to date because part of me could not let go. And it's hard to let go, especially in the beginning, guys. It's really hard to let go. Part of me couldn't let go. Part of me didn't want to let go. Part of me honestly wanted to go and run back to him. But God is strong, man. God is strong. And I said, you know what? I said, God, your will be done. I'll let your will be done. Whatever you want for my life, I'm leaving it in your hands. And I managed over time. You know, I still haven't dated because I'm still healing myself. Remember, guys, you're not just healing the narcissistic abuse. You're healing your trauma. You're healing your trauma, your inner trauma, your childhood trauma. You're healing a lot more trauma. So if people sit there telling you, oh, well, you're still caught up on your ex, you haven't dated. No, 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 no. I'm doing what a lot of you other people would not be doing. Because you know something? A lot of people like to walk sleeping. You know what I'm saying? They like to sleepwalk. People ain't trying to face their trauma. They're not trying to face their trauma. Well, listen, Amanda. I got the fist, so. But a lot of people in this world don't want to face their trauma because they're scared. They're scared to open those doors. And a lot of us are facing it because we were forced to face them. So still do your healing, man. Continue your healing. And when you're ready, when you feel ready, then you'll start dating. You'll know when it's the right time, okay? Because when you start dating, that's when your mind is going to be in a right space, and you're going to be able to discern, make better choices, make certain decisions that you never thought you would be able to before, and you're going to, you'll be okay from that point on. Butch, good morning. I found myself trying to make deals with God. Maybe if you bring my ex back, I'll do X, Y, and Z. Butch, listen, if it ain't for you, God's not going to do it. Okay? I spent a lot of time praying for him. I did spend a lot of time praying for him because I said, and I'm not saying I prayed for him to come back. I did not pray for him to come back. I did not pray for him to re-enter my life. I prayed to God for him to break those chains, though, because I felt like he was severely oppressed. A lot of people who are narcissists and narcissistic are extremely oppressed people, okay? I felt he was spiritually oppressed. I felt like whatever was keeping him in oppression had a really tight hold on him. The most I did was I prayed to God and I said, watch over him, protect him. I released the Holy Spirit in his home. I said, break those shackles, break those chains. In the letter that I sent him, I told him, I want you to be happy, even if it means not being with me. Okay? And that takes a lot. That takes a lot. I want you to be happy. This was even before I knew about narcissism. I had just actually started learning about it. But I told him, I just want you to be happy, even if it means us not being together. Okay? Because that's what love is. Love is, wishing happiness for someone else, even though you know it's going to hurt you. But you're not selfish. You're not selfish. You're not, you're not like these people who've treated you wrong, who've hurt you, who've done selfish things. And I stick by it, At the end of the day, there's too much damage between us anyway. There's way too much damage between us. And considering the fact that 2 years has gone by and I have not even gotten an apology, I think if I get one now, that's a slap to the face. It really is. Because even though I treated him with, like you guys, I treated him with respect and love and courtesy. But, I listen, at this point, I don't really think it matters. It really doesn't. So it doesn't, I just find it funny because it's like, a lot of people do that. So you're not the only one. A lot of people do that, They try to make deals with God. They say, well, listen, God, if you let this happen in my life, I'll go to church more. Or I'll do, all of... God doesn't do deals. The devil does, okay? And keep in mind that the devil will answer your prayers. So be very careful. Be extremely careful with that, guys, okay? He will intervene in your prayers, and he will try to bring you something and mask it with, this is a gift from God. Okay? He's a trickster, guys. He is a trickster. He knows how to trick people. He knows how to trick you. Okay? That's why God says, when you speak to him, when you pray, protect your prayers. Place that hedge of protection. because God can read your mind, the devil can't. But the devil can hear every word that comes out of your mouth. All right? And if he knows you want something so badly that you're willing to do anything to get it, trust and believe he will be knocking at your doorstep trying to convince you this is all you have to do if this is what you want. Don't do it. Well, he is the God, but he does not make deals, guys. He doesn't. We need him. Remember that. We need him. He doesn't need us. So keep that in mind. You know, pray to God to bring someone he sees fit to be in your life, because he will never steer you wrong with putting people into your path. The devil, on the other hand, is only here to destroy you. So every time a narcissist comes in your life, that's because the devil's been tiptoeing around you. All right, so be very careful with that, guys. Alrighty, guys. My eyes are like, ugh. Andrea, I haven't dated either. It's been 14 months. I feel good, and that's great, right? Like, you don't need to. I haven't dated for two and a half, and people find it hard to believe. They find it hard to believe. They're like, oh, you haven't. My ex told me that I would probably have a boyfriend 2 weeks after we broke up. Like, if, like, for instance, if we broke up, I bet you'll have a boyfriend like 2 weeks after we break up. Bro, what kind of females you be dealing with, man? 2 weeks? 2 weeks after we break up, I'm just gonna have another boyfriend? Are you serious? And look at this, 2.5 years. No man, no nothing. And I'm perfectly fine. The only one I deal with is my little man here in the corner who drives me crazy. That's it. Maybe so for Justice. Maybe so, because at the end of the day, when push came to shove, I mean, listen, he had no problem. He had no problem, like, putting that pain on me, because that was painful. That was probably one of the most painful experiences. I just recently, guys, I got my hand tattooed. Both of them tattooed. I just felt like doing it. It's kind of like an early birthday gift for myself. And the tattoo artist was like, it looks great, blah, blah, blah. He goes, how do you like it? I said, I love it. And he was like, was it really painful for you? I said, not as painful, still not as painful as my last breakup, man. You're gonna have to do better than that. So I don't really think I could ever compare it to something else. This breakup was really, really painful for me. It did show me a lot about myself. It did help me to open up more. It helped me to be more independent within myself. And most importantly, it helped me to realize who the fuck I am. And who I am is someone not to be fucked with. So I kind of just stick to myself. I stay to myself. I don't run in packs. I don't deal with a lot of people. I stick to myself. I take care of my baby, and that's it. That's all I do. And he did help me, So one thing we got to do, guys, unfortunately, after the abuse, we do have to be grateful, in a sense, for narcissists, because they help us realize who we truly are, deep down to the core, and who we are meant to be. Thank you, Andrea. It's still healing. I got them done yesterday, and all in one sitting. So I love it, and it was something for me. I was dying for some new ink, so I said, let me just do it. And it's the lotus flower, which means new beginnings, so it's just, that's what it is for. New beginning, guys. We're going into 2021, okay? We've been through enough for 2020. We've been through enough these past few years. Let's bring 2021 with a big bang, okay? With a huge, huge bang, all right? So, guys, I love being here with you guys. I love talking to you guys. I love having just chilling, sitting back, relaxing with you guys. I want to say thank you to Heather and Jade for, giving me the opportunity to not only be able to read your stories. I look forward to reading them, but for giving me the opportunity to put them in the book. This is like, it's a big deal, guys. And if you guys are interested in submitting your stories, if you want to, of course, you don't have to. If you want to submit your stories, if you want to, because I'm doing a Survivor Chronicle, you guys know that. It's a chronicle series of different survivors of abuse narcissistic, emotional, mental, domestic abuse, you name it. I'm already, this first volume is 5 stories. And Alicia, if you would love to, shoot me an email. I'm gonna leave the email address in the bio, in the description. The first volume has 5 stories. I've already completed 2. I'm working on the third one. And Alicia and Jade, Alicia, I'm sorry, Heather and Jade, if you guys are still, those will probably end up in the volume 1. And then you know, whomever else would like to submit their stories, have their story heard, you know. These are, it's similar to henna designs, but these are real, like, real tattoos. These are like, we're talking real needle and ink. Very, very painful. I was under the chair. I was in the chair for like almost 40 minutes. But if you guys are still interested in submitting your stories, please do so. Like I said, take your time. Put out the clear factors, the points, timetables, things to that effect. And I will promise to make sure that I give your truth its justice. Okay? And anybody else who's interested in submitting their stories, the email will be in the description box below, so you can get it out. You can let it out. And if anything, I usually switch up names. I don't use real names. And you know, whatever it is that you'd like me to add, whatever it is you would like me to, you know, whatever it is you choose to do. All right? I want this to be healing for you guys. I don't want it to be triggering for you guys. So take your time. If you're interested in submitting your story, take your time. Trust me, I'm still working on a few stories from the first volume anyway. All right, Heather, perfect. Get the stuff together. And, you know, guys, this is what I love. I love to just be here and talking with you guys, and of course invading my son's space, because, you know, hey, listen, I pay rent, okay? He hasn't paid me a dime since we got in this new apartment. So, but thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for coming out. Survivors, speak up. Andrea, that's perfectly fine, honey. If you want to submit it, because, you know, we're talking, I did Amanda's story and I had 11 chapters in, so don't worry about it. Even if it's long, if the story is long, that's perfectly fine. That helps me, because all I have to do is mostly edit and maybe, you know, maybe like not add anything, but just kind of like set the tone. You're very welcome, sweetheart. You're very welcome. Oh, Heather, that's awesome. So maybe next time I'll pass you something and see what you can do for me. For Justice, you're very welcome. I'm so glad you were able to make it. I try so hard not to stay too long on live, but it's so hard not to, because just being here with you guys is just like, it's fun. It's amazing. It's a great time. And, you know, people need this. They need support. They need love. They need appreciation. They need everything. We need everything, guys, and we're here for one another. So that's one of the best things about it, and I'm glad. Alicia, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for being part of it. You know, you guys are a very big part of it, and if I can get as many stories out there and as many people talking about it and as many people trying to come forward with it, then please, by all means, send those stories in. Send them in. Get your word out. Speak up. I think that's gonna be my theme. It's gonna be Survivors Speak Up. For Justice, you're very, very welcome, honey. You're very welcome, and I hope to see you here again next week. We do this every Tuesday. So, you know, and if you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. That's my battery again. I'm on 10%, guys, so I'm gonna have to make it short. But everything's gonna be in the description box, guys. So whatever you want to do, you want to show me your stories, please. I'll be more than glad to rewrite it and give it a nice cover and everything. And, you know, survivors, remember that. Okay, a Narc survival chronicle. It's a chronicle of survivors. So we got to give this the best ending that we can possibly give it in your stories, guys. Okay, so just remember that. All right, and if you're interested, I still have the Jasmine story that I wrote from the beginning on Wattpad, okay? I'll put the link anyway, so in case you guys want to read it, kind of get an idea of how my writing is, and of course, how the story would be. I'll definitely leave the link in the description box below, guys. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for showing love as you always do. I'm so humbly appreciative. I appreciate you all of you, every single one of you. And of course, to God Almighty, because God is just, without him, I would not even be here right now. So I give him all the praise and I give him the glory, because he's the reason why I'm doing this too, and he's the reason why I'm able to sit here and talk about it and actually not cry about it. So that's a good sign, right, guys? So guys, I will see you all next week. I'm going to continue doing the little mini videos. I think people really enjoy that. Amen, Alicia. I think people enjoy that, so I'm going to continue doing the little short mini videos, you know, and it's random. It pops up in my head and I just start recording. So, you know, you saw me doing my makeup in my bathroom and I'm talking, so that's how random it is. But I'm going to continue doing those for you guys too, just to kind of give you some weekly reminders and, you know, maybe something to watch while you have your morning coffee, right? Thank you again, guys, for being here. Love you all. I will see you all next week, same time, 8 p.m. And what else? Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. Anything you want to leave it in the comments section. Email me if you want to share your story. It will be in the description box and all that good stuff, guys. You know I love you all. But I got to get ready to hit the sack because I got to be up for work early. I work in Long Island. I live in Queens. That's a little bit of a trip. So guys, thank you again for being here. All those who could not make it can always watch it on the stream. Alicia, thank you, sweetheart. Have a great night. All of you have a great night. Sweet dreams, blessings, peace, love, all that good stuff. Love you all, guys. Have a great night, guys, okay? Bye. Namaste.